Okay, here we are. Welcome to the channel. I'm fekermark, and today we are going in the sea again on a day with very gusty offshore winds. We're having strong winds, 15 to 18 knots from east, meaning here in Campastilla it's side offshore. It's not the best conditions, but they still work. And we're going in to try the spin 4.6. It'll be interesting to see how it handles and the fight to get up on foil. Got this Axis 1050, which is a 1500 square centimeter foil, and that one needs a little bit more power to get going, but that's gonna be a good one. So we're testing the 4.6, and we're testing today the 1050 from Axis. And this foil has taken me by surprise. It's been so much better than I could have dreamed of. Really, it's been amazing. And well, we'll take it for another ride. Looking forward to that. And winds are really pushing offshore. It'll be fine. It'll be a good day and gonna be enjoyable. All right, guys, stay tuned for more nice videos from me after this. Going back to get the wing, and here's Emo. We're just gonna ask him how he was today. ¿Qué tal hoy?
Bien, ¿tú?
Sí.
Está muy fuerte ahí abajo.
Sí.
Se lo dije a Dayan que vaya un poco con cuidado porque no le pase como el otro día, sí, se pega fuerte.
Muy fuerte, ¿no?
Muy fuerte ahí abajo. Pero se disfruta, ¿eh?
Sí.
Necesita mucha fuerza, mucha comida antes.
Tú tienes mucho de esto.
Sí, yo tengo de sobra. Tengo un poquito de sobra.
Muy bien.
Buen día, ¿eh?
Sí.
Buen día. A ver si disfrutáis un poco.
Sí, claro, se queda.
Nos vemos esta noche, ¿no?
Sí, sí.
Venga.
Venga. Okay, and that's Emo. And here's the spin. Spin 4.6. Just waiting for me to take it out. Rocking. What a great wing this is. Okay, then we're ready to get in. Starboard 5.2, 90 liters. Axis 1050, 1500 square centimeters, 90 centimeter foil, 440 stab, and spin 4.6. And yeah, it's very gusty, but it's strong, so really looking forward to this. Okay, here we go.
Today we're going back a few months in time. As I have been down with COVID for the last 2 weeks and I'm using some clips from an earlier ride. I wanted to talk about riding in offshore winds today. It's great fun, but it's not for everyone. Stay tuned to find out more about this very special condition. One advantage with wing foil is that we can ride in almost any condition. When we, for example, have a great onshore wind here in Campastilla, the beach is full of wing foilers, windsurfers, kite surfers, and when there are waves, we have a lot of surfers as well. The beach is full of riders, great atmosphere, and great riding. However, in those days we suffer a bit. Because of the foil we have to wade out to get to depth of more than a meter, and depending on the size of the waves, that can be tough sometimes to get through the white water. We need 1 meter to 1.5 meters of depth, and depending on the bottom and tide, it can be a walk for us about 30 to 75 meters, and waves hitting all the time makes it difficult to get in and out. Around here we don't have that very big and strong waves often, so on a normal day we just fight through the waves and it's okay. But it is especially difficult for riders like Diane with her 45 kilos. For all you light riders, this is a very important point. If the waves are too strong, you have to find a different spot to enter where they are less powerful and high and go in. Here in Campastilla we can walk over to the harbor to the right and enter along the wave breakers or piers, and that works fine on days with a lot of big. Then we have days like this. Everything is completely the opposite. On offshore days, wind blowing offshore, there are no waves, the sea is beautifully flat, and there are hardly anyone around. More or less it's only us wingfoil riders riding in offshore winds here. So we have the whole beach and the whole bay to ourselves, more or less. Maybe 1 or 2 windsurfers, but no kiters and no surfers. Just us enjoying the sea and the open bay. How cool isn't that? One of the great things about offshores is that the sea is very flat, so the riding differs from days with onshore wind. This means it's an excellent opportunity to work on new maneuvers, also try out new stuff, work on our progression in the sport. With a lot less waves, you have more control of your situation, and that makes offshore a great time to practice. The absolute biggest drawback is that the wind has to pass over land, and this makes it turbulent, less constant, and most times very gusty.
I wasn't prepared for that. I wasn't prepared, and I just blew off the board. It's that strong. All right.
On a good windy day, it can be 5-10 knots, and then a gust of 20-25 knots. That makes riding in offshore quite difficult. It is important to choose your material well. When there are no gusts, you need a big wing, but a powerful gust arrives and you definitely need only a small wing to get on with the riding. So it's important to choose your wing size well and be prepared for on-off winds throughout the ride. As you see, from time to time I hold the wing high above my head. This way I can use the power of the wind as much as I want and I don't get overpowered in the powerful gusts. A super important aspect of riding in offshore winds is that if you are not completely confident navigating upwind, you should not go in. Because if you can't go upwind in a controllable manner, you won't get back to the beach. So riding in offshore winds, however nice and flat the sea may look, it is not for new riders. And this is a very important to understand and follow. When learning to wingfoil, only practice with onshore winds. Possibly a sideshore wind works if you're in a bay, and you will blow onto shore if your navigation doesn't work. The important factor is that you will get back to shore by the force of the wind. Even by not doing anything, you will head for the shore. That is a very big and important safety feature. But for any rider with the skills needed, jibing, tacking, going upwind, the opportunity to ride in offshore winds is fun and a unique experience. We recommend that you should have a boat around in case something happens to you or your equipment. Then the boat can pick you up and take you back to shore. Or at the bare minimum, always have at least one fellow rider in the water with you. No one should ever go in the sea alone, especially on offshore days. It's about security and to avoid unnecessary problems. A good tip out riding in offshore winds is to monitor the surface of the water all the time. You need to know when the gusts are coming. You need to brace if you are up on the foil, and you need to be ready to pump to get up on foil if you're down on the water.
I'm just blowing off! Jesus! Again, just blowing off the board. The wind catches the wing. Yeah, you have to go really high up in the wind. It's strong today, very strong. Está fuerte, madre mía. Oh.
But if you're down on the water, you just have to wait until the next gust arrives and you can use it to get up on foil and you're on away. That is the essence of riding in offshore condition. Is it difficult? Hell yes. If you time a jibe at the wrong moment and a powerful gust arrive, it can or will blow you off the board. Also, when you have a good gust, it is a great time to jibe, as opposed to trying to jibe in weak wind between the gusts. Timing. It is all about timing. Riding in offshore condition is about timing to a substantial part. Timing to use the gust of wind to your benefit. If you're up on foil, you can work through a slow patch by pumping the wing on the board, or both. You want to stay up on foil between the gusts. Look for a gust of wind. You will see it clearly on the surface of the water coming towards you. And when you get to it, then you're fine. And here comes an interesting detail about staying on the board in offshore's gusty conditions. I usually ride without foot straps, and that makes me more susceptible to blow off the board, right? But if you use foot straps, you can actually use the foot straps to sort of hold on to the board, and that will for sure rescue you from time to time and you won't be blowing off the board as much. That is true, and it makes sense. The difference between Diane with foot straps and me without is noticeable. So, should you put on foot straps only because of this? No. There are a lot more to consider before you should put on foot straps, in my experience. But I will address that in another video, pros and cons of foot straps. Follow my channel to see that video. Click on the like and subscribe button for more info about wingfall here on my channel. Leave a comment if you ride in offshore winds or not. What have you learned doing it? What do you think about it? It'd be nice for me and others to see and read about your thoughts and ideas. Thank you very much for your support, guys.
So one thing with the Axis 1050 foil, which is a bit different from the starboards that I'm used to, since it's a high aspect wing more than the starboard, it has a different lift. It has quite a little lift in the beginning, and you have to be careful and get a little bit of speed before you lean back and trying to get the foil on upward motion, because if you do it too quickly like I'm used to the starboards, it just stalls. So it's a bit different techniques, a little bit slower, lower angle, and get more speed, and then it comes and then it stays. So it's a bit of a difference to get used to with this Axis 1500 square centimeter.
So, also in offshore conditions, things are the opposite regarding directions. Let me explain. If your good side to get up on foil with an onshore wind is going with your right foot first, going in the same direction in offshore winds will get your left foot first. Just a thing to think about. Some people have a preferred side for pumping and it's easier to get up on foil. Others are fine in both stances. Also to think of in offshore winds conditions is that if there are buildings close to the place you ride, they will make the wind even more messy, gusty. This is very noticeable with higher buildings close to the sea. If it's possible, try to ride in a spot that has an open area behind you, as open as possible. Then the wind will be a little less gusty. So there you have it. Riding in offshore condition is fun, good for practice jibes and so on, and there are a few other riders in the sea, so you have a lot of space. Now think about your level. Do you have the skills necessary to get safely back to shore? Very important. And what size equipment to use. It is better to choose equipment and the size in the middle. Not to have a big wing, not to have a small wing, but have something in the middle, like a 5-meter wing for a 75-kilo rider. If you choose a big wing, you will have a tough time in the powerful gusts. If you choose a small one, you won't stay up in between the gusts, and you might also have a hard time coming back to shore as the wind is weaker close to shore. There are many things to think about in offshore conditions simply because it's more complicated. Hope these tips in this video help you to progress to ride in offshore conditions as well. It's worth it. Remember to keep yours and your fellow riders' safety high and have lots of fun. Enjoy!
Well, if anyone was wondering where I got the foil mast on this board, I can show you. I got the screws today on 22, just to see. Normally I will put the screws on 21 because I think that's a good one, but I wanted to see if I put them on 21 if that would be too strong coming up, and it was noticeably stronger. Probably 21 is better, or 20, or on a day with a lot of waves, probably 19. That will be a good one. Alright guys, thank you for staying with me, I will see you in the next video. Stay safe. How was it? How was it today?
Bit gusty.
A bit gusty. It was wild.
And he got blown off the board once.
Only once. Lucky her. You're getting blown away with the board as well. Well done. So I'm 75 kilo, I had a 4.6 and it was too big. I wish I had had my 4, but I lent it to Diane today so she had it. And she's 45 kilos with a 4. So it must have been quite gusty for her. Weight does matter in many ways when you're wing foiling. It makes it more difficult to come up on foil, but it makes you more resilient to stand up on foil and the gust on a windy day. So pros and cons, pros and cons.
Pasándote nada. Una vez que llegaba aquí me quedaba sin viento. Oh, claro, y llevo 3 días navegando.
¿Y qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Wow.
Fortísimo.
Sí, demasiado.
Fortísimo para allá y cuando llegaba aquí, pues no había manera, tío.
Sí.
Eso fue un poquito mal, pero bueno. Así se aprende, ¿no?
Sí, sí. Todas experiencias.
Sí, pero un poquito por encima.